Cross the line at an hour to time. Interstate 94 more miles through the Great Lakes State. Turn it up so the bus ain't late.
Welcome to KEC Design's install video for the Jimmy John's franchise community. This video will help owners and contractors better understand the install process from start to finish. Here's Dan Proctor from KEC Design.
Thanks, Rachel. When Jimmy and I initiated this one-day install concept on store number 7 15 years ago, we knew it was the most cost-effective and efficient methodology for keeping the brand competitive in the marketplace. Our investment in this video represents over 20 years of install experience. Chances are any challenges you may encounter have been addressed, and we've systemized the install process to make it run smoothly for everyone involved. So, if you choose to do the install yourself, this video provides all the information and knowledge you need. If you prefer to use KEC Design's install team, you now know what to expect on the day of install. Either way, we are here for you every step of the way, because our investment in this video is our investment in your success.
Thank you, Dan. This video is divided into 4 modules: site preparation, tailgate delivery, equipment assembly, and site completion. Site preparation. Module 1 reviews your prep work and what the job site looks like on the day of your install. Tailgate delivery. Here, you'll learn how to unload, uncrate, and unpackage the equipment to reduce and avoid damage. Equipment assembly. In Module 3, you'll see how to assemble your equipment and furniture. Site completion. In the last module, you'll see how to return the job site to a clean and final condition after your equipment install. Whether you watch the entire video or choose a particular module of interest, we hope you have a solid understanding of the install process. In Module 1, we'll discuss any preparation that is needed in advance of your install. Installs are usually scheduled for one full day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., meaning the pace of the day is very fast. Contractors and laborers will have to move quickly and follow KEC Design's systematic process to stay on schedule. On the day of your install, the job site should be free and clear of clutter, construction debris, or any other heavy objects. This is especially important in the kitchen areas. If the site is not ready, coordinate cleanup with on-site personnel. A site ready for install will have wall and floor tile grouted in both kitchen and dining areas. If the floor tile in the dining room is not finished, alternate storage will be needed for the tables, booths, and chairs. All FRP paneling in the back kitchen will be mounted. The dropped ceiling grid should be complete before or delayed until after the install. Parking for the delivery truck and the path of the equipment from the truck to the store needs to be accessible. Any permits, permission, or exceptions to traffic, parking, or tenant rules should be acquired by the store owner prior to delivery. This is especially true in urban areas. Clearances into the store space must be sufficient. For the entry door where equipment is unloaded, clearance is 33.5 inches. In the walk-in footprint, you'll need to verify dimensions of the space. Ceiling clearance should be 10 feet so the compressors can be easily mounted. If this area does not have proper clearances, the issue needs to be identified immediately so adjustments can be made that day. If the driver's box has already been mounted, check to make sure you have 36 inches of clearance, enough to roll your cold table behind the front counter. If not, the driver's box may have to be temporarily removed. Make allowances for the disposal of any extra packing material that remains after the install. This can be as simple as getting permission to use a site dumpster. Finally, if possible, try to schedule plumbers and electricians in the kitchen area after 12 noon so your equipment can be moved in with ease. When the job site is physically ready, quickly review job site plans to know where all equipment is to be set. This helps ensure proper staging of equipment and expedites your day. All installs require the same tools. Always make sure your toolkit is complete or you may get delayed. A complete list of tools needed for your install is available through KEC Design. In Module 2, you'll see how to handle the delivery, unloading, and unpacking of your equipment. In this section, we highlight the items that require special handling due to their size, weight, or ease of damage. KEC Design will provide a delivery ticket, which is your guide for the day, showing a breakdown of all items delivered on trucks during your install. When the delivery truck arrives, get it as close as possible to the door where your equipment will be unloaded. This is very important because many of the items delivered are heavy and may require several people to move. Note, all equipment will be unloaded from the truck first and then uncrated on the ground. This is to protect equipment from any potential damage during the unloading process. The only exception to this is the massive size pallet of walk-in panels, which will be broken down on the truck. Unloading the 900-pound wood-crated KEC cold table requires special handling. Not only is this the largest piece of assembled equipment, but it is quite expensive and damage should be avoided. This piece requires 3 to 4 people to unload safely. Note, before the unit is unloaded, check to see if your sign package and shelving poles are packaged on top. If so, set the packages aside for later use. The KEC cold table should remain crated and on its skid until it has been moved to the ground. It is best to unload this unit using a lift gate, but if that's not available, it must be rolled down on a ramp mounted to the back of the truck. You'll need to have 1 to 2 people moving the cold table into position on the lift gate and 2 additional people on the ground. Note, many liftgate platforms are not as large as the cold table and overhang occurs. People on the ground are needed to hold and balance the unit. Once off the truck, the cold table must be rolled off of the skid carefully. Maneuver the cold table off of the skid as follows. First, remove all crating. Be sure to take off the small wood planks nailed to the pallet on the front and back of the unit. Cut strapping and reset the shelf. Position the crated cold table so there's 48 inches of clearance behind it. Have 1 person at each end of the crate and 1 centered behind the back of the cold table. People at each end walk the unit toward the back, keeping it level, while the middle persons keep it from tipping. When halfway off the pallet, tip the cold table back so the rear casters touch the ground, while another person pulls the loose pallet from under the front. Once clear, lower the front of the table to the ground. The unit can now be rolled behind the counter according to plans. The walk-in freezer and cooler arrive on a skid. The skid of the walk-in panels will be broken down on the back of the truck and later assembled. Because the individual panels are lightweight, they can be easily carried and handled by 1 person. When unloading these panels, keep in mind that the outside metal skin is soft and easily dented, so you'll need to exercise care in handling. Sometimes panels incur minor damage in transit, but can be repaired quickly on the job site. Repairs may result in slight cosmetic damage, but will not affect the operation of the unit. Repaired pieces can be placed on the back side of the walk-in where they won't be seen. When carrying the walk-in panels inside, make sure they are placed near but not in the walk-in footprint. Each of the panels is labeled with paper stickers. The stickers should be facing out and at the tops of the panels when they are leaned against the wall. This will help with assembly later on. As you're unloading the skid, you'll notice a white plastic bag from the walk-in manufacturer, Norlake, included on the skid. Remove the bag and set it near your walk-in panels in the kitchen, as it contains parts, tools, a manual, and layout sheet for assembly later on. Every walk-in panel has a white paper label attached with a part number that corresponds to part number shown on the walk-in floor plan. This number will match a number on the walk-in layout inside the white plastic Norlake bag. Refer to this during assembly. There is a skid of smallwares that is easily identified by the number of small boxes stacked and shrink-wrapped on the pallet. When unloading this pallet, take care not to damage the shrink wrap, as any damage here will disrupt the contents of the pallet. Set this pallet aside until the final phase of the install. The other shrink-wrapped pallet contains mostly shelving components. Unwrap that pallet and move the contents inside the store. The oven proofer is an item that requires special handling because it is top-heavy and can tip easily. The unit ships with the casters mounted so it rolls easily. The front of the oven has glass doors that are only break resistant. To unload, you'll need to determine which side is the back of the oven, cut strapping, and walk the unit off the pallet toward the back of the oven. Once removed from the pallet, it is easily rolled into place according to plans. Also, pay special attention to your stainless steel and fabricated products, which all have arrived in wood crating. 3-compartment sink, vegetable sink, slicer table and corner. All of these items are in wood crating, and you need to inspect for damage prior to uncrating. While most of the other items on the truck don't require special handling, you'll still need to inspect for damage prior to moving into the store. Look at the cardboard packaging and inspect equipment for any visible signs of damage. If found, document the damage with a digital camera and note it on the freight bill or delivery ticket prior to truck departure. It's not surprising that unpacking equipment creates a mess. Your goal is to keep the sidewalk and storefront free of debris, especially if the job site is adjacent to another retail business. Module 3 is focused on assembling your equipment and setting it in place. This process will comprise a significant part of your day. Keep in mind that some items require special explanations and are shown in our video. Others can be easily assembled using the manufacturer's instructions that come with the equipment. On most jobs, you will assemble the combo walk-in cooler and freezer from panels arriving on the truck. Ideally, you'll try to erect the walk-in cooler and freezer as early in the day as possible. While the walk-ins are large pieces of equipment, the assembly is straightforward and the components are lightweight. The manufacturer's assembly instructions are on the layout sheet in the white plastic bag that you found when you unpacked the panels. Before assembling the walk-in, remember to determine if there are any modifications to the walk-in footprint before you get started. Make those adjustments as soon as possible. Locate the walk-in panels you unloaded from the truck and determine where panels are to be set during the assembly based upon white labels and instruction sheet. Take the L-shaped Allen wrench from the white plastic bag. Note the tongue and groove edges of all panels designed to nestle together when building the walk-in. One final time, ensure the floor is free and clear of debris. Using time-lapse video, we'll show you how the walk-in goes together. It should be assembled in this order to avoid delays. Floor panels are first. These are numbered according to the layout and recognizable for their smooth aluminum finish instead of the pebbled finish of all the other panels. Set the floor panels down, level and lock panels together. Note that your clearances may be very close and a level walk-in floor is critical to the smooth assembly of the entire unit. An out-of-level floor results in doors not closing properly, panels not sealing, and a walk-in that might need reassembly. Back walls and corner panels come next. Make sure the panels with labels up and facing inward settle their bottom tongues into the floor panel perimeter groove. Verify that the first 2 back panels installed are level, flush and plumb, at the top and bottom before you lock the 2 middle rows of cam locks. Note, don't worry about the top and bottom rows of locks yet. Start the wall panel assembly in a back corner. Set walls out from that corner alternating from left to right directions and repeat the leveling and locking for each panel. Note that doors are simply wall panels that are a part of the full wall panel assembly process. When setting the door panels, it is extremely important to set the doors correctly. Verify correct hinge direction at door locations. Make sure the adjacent wall panel tops align and level with the top of the door panel. Once the door panel is locked on each side, unlock, open, and test the closing of the door. Ceiling panels are added last. Install ceiling panels on top of unit, making sure they are flush and plumb with the outside edges of the wall panels. Be sure that the groove of the ceiling panel nestles securely on the wall panel tongue. Note that ceiling panels may require compression downward onto the wall panels when locking. Keep in mind, and this is very important, you can feel when the cam lock locks. These mechanisms grab the panels, and by trial and error, you will see and feel the effectiveness of those locks pulling the panels together. Installing compressor units on the ceiling. Compressor units need to be hoisted from the ceiling, positioned over the openings properly, and screwed into the walk-in ceiling. Note, sometimes you may need to troubleshoot issues with ductwork or other mechanicals. Generally, walk-in units have two compartments, cooler and freezer. It is important to identify which compressor is for the freezer and which is for the cooler so they are installed correctly. On the crated units, the freezer is identified with a model number that begins with CPF, and the cooler is CPB. The freezer unit is the heaviest and most difficult to handle, so install it first. 3-inch long hardware screws are usually taped to the side of each compressor. There are pre-drilled holes in the ceiling panels that align with pre-drilled holes on the compressor flanges. When aligned, the compressors are in proper position over the opening in the ceiling panel, and the units can be screwed down. Now inside the walk-in, lock the bottom row of locks to secure wall panels to the floor, and make sure ceiling panel locks are secured as well. This is critical to eliminate cold leaks once the unit is in operation. The final step is to find the clear bag of silver 1-inch round discs and plug the cam lock holes in the walk-in. To assemble store seating, you'll need to create an assembly line for the table components. This involves unpacking, unwrapping, and stacking all pieces of each component together. You'll be responsible for assembling the table bases, which have 6 components. Bases come in 2 sizes, one for standard height tables and the other for bar height tables. The rectangular boxes contain 3 of the 6 components: threaded rod 28 inches or 40 inches long, locking nut that threads into the bottom of the rod, 3-inch diameter columns. Unpack boxes, unwrap columns, untape threaded rods, unscrew nuts from rods, and set aside in orderly piles. The 12-inch cast iron spider is packed in boxes. Included are the 3-inch diameter fiber centering discs, which are wafer thin. These are enclosed in a general hardware box that is located on the shrink-wrapped shelving pallet. Unpack all and set the spiders in stacks of 5 and put discs with the rods and columns. The base plates, or feet of the bases, are the last component and have threaded floor glides. Unbox those too. To assemble the bases, do the following. Place the rod in the center hole of the spider. Set the rod and spider assembly back on the stack of spiders. Place a column over the rod and rest on the back of the spider. Place one centering disc with rod running through the center and place a disc snug against the top of the column. Hold steady. Next, lower a base plate upside down with glides upward and center hole positioned over the rod and against the centering disc. Take a threaded nut and screw on the remaining threaded rod protruding through base plate. Note, if the spider and rod assembly is not placed on top of another spider, the rod will not protrude through the base plate enough for screwing the nut down against the base plate. Take your assembled table base off the spider stack. Step on the wings of the spider and turn the base plate clockwise to tighten. Keep bases in the upside down position and set aside. Now move on to tabletops. Uncrate tabletops from their pallet. Locate the paper-wrapped screw packet. Place the tabletops upside down with laminate side facing floor using scrap cardboard or other material as a protector for the laminate setting on the floor. Set bases upside down on tabletops. Align spider holes with pre-drilled holes on tabletop. Find screws in white foam wrap. It is very important that you mount the right height and dimension table bases to the right tops and place them properly. The 24-inch square and the 24-inch by 42-inch tops get standard height 29-inch tall table bases. The 30-inch round top, depending on the store layout, may get a standard height or bar height base. The base will have 3 legs as shown here and is centered. The tabletops will have pre-marked holes for placing the spiders in the correct position. The 24-inch by 42-inch rectangle uses 2 end bases. The base plate looks like the letter I. The tables will be marked for proper positioning, but in case they are not, each base is centered 10 inches in from each 24-inch end of the tabletop. Be sure and check your layout and confirm the standard height and bar height tables and count the numbers on hand for each size to avoid additional work. Once the table bases are set on the tabletops, use 8 screws as shown to mount the spider to the bottom side of the tabletop. Once secured, hold the tabletop in place on the floor and either tighten the nut on the rod or turn the base plate clockwise to permanently tighten down the base. One final effort. Take the screw-in black plastic table glides off the base plate. Find the clear bag of black deluxe glides in the same box with the fiber centering discs. Tighten the glides down with the appropriate sized Allen wrench. After the glides are installed, flip the entire assembly over and the table assembly is complete. Setting the ice machine is quick and easy. The ice machine is modular and comes in 2 pieces, the bin and the head. Inside the bin is a box containing 4 threaded stem legs. Lay the bin on its back, legs into each of the 4 corners tightly, and then set the bin upright on the floor. Locate the bin near where the ice machine will actually set in the store. Move the ice machine head, the part that makes the ice, near the bin. Have 2 people lift the head in place. Turn the front of the head in the same direction as the front of the bin, the side that the flip-up door is on. Note, the gasket material that is taped on the top of the bin is to remain. Lift and set the head on the bin, lining up the rear corners flush. Remove the front panel of the head, and in the open area, you will find a plastic bag with directions and hardware. Remove the mounting brackets and screws and refer to the directions for attaching the brackets on the back of the machine. Remove the internal and external packing tape. Check that things are in place and move the ice machine into its final position. Sliding the overshelf into the cold table can occur immediately after the unit is removed from the pallet. You will also locate the compressor housing cover inside the prep table and snap into place. Remove all zip strips and bubble wrap from the interior of prep table. There are 2 aluminum 4-inch check minders that must be mounted to the face of the overshelf. Use the cobalt drill bit for penetrating the metal and align the top of the check minder with the top of the overshelf to screw strips on. Assembling the oven proofer is simple once it's off the truck. If your unit arrives without the handle attached, mount the handle on the door as shown. The unit ships with 2 boxes on top. One box has gray shelves for the proofer, the bottom of the unit, and the other has shelf uprights for the proofer and chrome shelves for the inside of the oven, the top of the unit. The chrome shelves set on each of the 4 decks in the oven cavity. The uprights mount in the brackets found in the 4 corners of the proofer. Once in place, the gray shelves slide on the wire slides of the uprights. Next, locate the metal drip tray wrapped in brown paper inside the proofer. Remove paper and hang tray keyhole style on the screws below the bottom proofer door. Assembly instructions are included with the unit if needed. Assembling dry storage shelving and the optional desk are simple but awkward processes that almost always require 2 people to balance all the pieces. First, Separate wall shelving components from stored shelving. Verify count and note that they are installed by contractor. Shelving units consist of 4 same-size shelf, 4 86-inch posts, and 16 gray 2-piece shelf clips. Assembly instructions are contained in each box of shelves and describe in great detail how to assemble these units. Note that a standard height for bottom and top shelves on each unit has been established, and the middle shelves are to be spaced equally between the others. Here's how it works. The top shelf is set at the very top of the post. Snap one 2-piece gray clip on one post with arrow pointing to top at 2 locations. The top of the bottom shelf is 7 inches from bottom of post. Snap another 2-piece gray clip on one post. On that same post, space the other 2 shelf clips equally spaced between the top and bottom clips you've already placed. You have one post with 4 clips, which will be your pattern for each of the 3 remaining posts. This process is very important because it helps make the shelf mounting and leveling very simple. If you don't do it this way, it can cost time. After this, follow the manufacturer's assembly instructions. The desk is an optional item that some stores choose. It follows the same process as all of the shelving noted above. The desk consists of 6 components. 1. Solid 24-inch by 48-inch stainless steel shelf. 2. 3 18-inch by 48-inch wire shelves. 3 18-inch by 48-inch wire shelves. 2 86-inch posts. 2 34-inch posts. 2 54-inch posts. The solid shelf is the desktop. The wire shelves are upper over shelves, and the snake is a 3-sided lower support frame. The 34-inch posts are the front lower posts. The 86-inch posts are the back posts, and the 54-inch posts set on the solid shelf to support the front corners of the 18-inch wire over shelves. In the Hobart box, you'll find the slicer and accessories. Uncrate the slicer and use 2 people to lift from crating and set slicer on the slicer table. Be sure to remember the product fence and bottle of oil located in the packaging. Remember, do not use the dial knob as a handle to lift the slicer. Now, attach slicer carriage to slicer and product fence to the carriage. Place accessories on the undershelf of the slicer table. Assembling the consolidation tables is a quick job that involves mounting 4 stainless steel legs to a stainless steel tabletop and mounting the undershelf, which must be 7 inches above the floor. Booths are fully assembled at the factory and only require unboxing. Use 2 people to carry each booth assembly into the store, being careful not to damage the wood booths on the door frame. In this step, you'll uncrate, unpack, and assemble all stainless steel and fabricated products. For all stainless steel sinks, attach the legs by sliding each post leg into the metal collar on the underside of the sink. Tighten Allen set screw. Verify that all basket drains, mounting Z-clips, and faucets are present and placed in sink bowls. Bathroom accessories and lighting have arrived before today and are probably already installed. Your job is to verify that bathroom accessories have been received and to locate any lighting components that are claimed to be missing. There are usually 4 cup dispensers listed on the delivery ticket. You need to verify count by finding the Ford San Jamar boxes. Note, these are typically installed by the contractor. The sneeze guard assemblies come in wood fully crated boxes from Wizard Art Glass. They contain posts and glass panels for 1 full assembly. Some projects have 2 assemblies. You can often quickly determine if there is any breakage in transit by gently shaking the box while unloading. These units are installed by the contractor. The smallwares skids must be unwrapped and individually counted and compared to your smallwares order to verify correct count. The inventory process works best when the item number on the box of the smallwares is compared to the item number on your KEC design order form. A check mark will be placed on the order form beside each item that is delivered, noting any discrepancies on the order form. When the inventory process is complete, smallwares can be stored in the walk-in cooler. This is preferred because the walk-in can be locked. It is now near the end of your install day, and you need to make sure all trash is reclaimed and placed back on the truck or in an on-site dumpster. You should sweep the unloading area to remove any nails, staples, or other debris that may have been left behind. At the end of the day, it is critical that you carefully review the delivery agent's paperwork and note any damage, shortages, or discrepancies before signing off on the form. You will also need to verify item count with your authorized site rep, noting any damage, missing items, exceptional conditions, or additions requested on the KEC delivery ticket. Note, liability rests with the delivery company if anything is damaged during the process by their personnel. If this is not documented on site before the truck departs, claims for damaged merchandise will be based upon hearsay, which complicates the process for everyone. The final step is to review pertinent startup and maintenance information for major pieces of equipment, all found in KEC Design's Black Operations Manual. This is usually packed with your smallwares. Direct the site rep's attention to setting the Kyrax defrost timer, ice machine cleaning instructions on back of front panel, clearing dust from all compressors, and the Hobart training video. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We hope it has helped you prepare for the day of your install. Everyone at KEC Design is committed to the success of the Jimmy John's brand.
4 more miles through the Great Lakes State. Turn it up so the bus ain't late. Another night in Michigan. St. Joe in a blanket of snow. We should have checked